15 minutes ago, an unexpected live stream from BTS's Jin ignited a wave of shock, speculation, and unanswered questions across the global ARMY community. Without preamble or warm-up, Jin appeared on camera and delivered a direct and piercing inquiry. Who is the beautiful woman in the front row during my last concert at the Ziggo Dome in Amsterdam? The abruptness of his question, combined with a highly specific reference to his recent Amsterdam performance, left viewers stunned and scrambling for context. This was not a casual remark. It was deliberate, targeted, and repeated more than once during the broadcast, suggesting that Jin's curiosity was not fleeting but deeply rooted in something he observed or experienced on that night. The Ziggo Dome concert in Amsterdam, part of Jin's Run Seokjin _EP tour, had already been considered one of the most emotionally charged stops of the tour. Fans had praised Jin for his commanding stage presence, unshakable vocal delivery, and his unusual mix of warmth and intensity during audience interactions. But no one suspected that, weeks later, a single moment from that night would become the focus of his own public curiosity. The mention of the beautiful woman in the front row was not accompanied by a description, a nickname, or any identifying details. Jin did not reveal whether he recognized her, whether she interacted with him directly, or why she stood out among thousands of attendees. That lack of clarity transformed a personal observation into a global mystery. The reaction from fans during the live was instantaneous. Comment sections exploded with attempts to piece together the puzzle. Some claimed they knew exactly who he was referring to, citing fan cams and photos from the Amsterdam show. Others dismissed these claims as speculative noise, pointing out that countless fans fit the description of beautiful in Jin's eyes, and without a clearer clue, any identification attempt was pure conjecture. This debate only intensified as the live stream continued, with Jin avoiding elaboration and instead focusing on reading comments, occasionally smirking or laughing in ways that suggested he was aware of the chaos his words were causing. The strategic weight of his timing cannot be ignored. 15 minutes is a small window in breaking news cycles, yet in the world of BTS, it is enough to set the internet ablaze. By choosing to go live unannounced and present such a loaded question to millions of followers, Jin bypassed the usual controlled channels through which artists typically reveal personal anecdotes or concert memories. This was raw, unfiltered, and in real time, the kind of public statement that feels almost too candid to be accidental. Was Jin simply teasing fans? Was this a spontaneous curiosity, or was there a deeper reason he wanted to identify this woman? Amsterdam's Ziggo Dome has hosted countless global icons, but BTS's relationship with the venue carries a unique weight. For many in the European ARMY, Jin's stop there was more than just another tour date. It was a once-in-a-lifetime moment to witness him up close during a solo tour phase that few imagined possible years ago. The front row, often filled with the most dedicated or fortunate fans, is a place of direct eye contact, shared energy, and unforgettable micro-interactions between performer and audience. For Jin to remember a single individual from that charged environment implies that the moment, whatever it was, imprinted itself in his mind. This leads to the more pressing question: why raise the matter now? And in this way, if Jin simply wanted to know for his own curiosity, he could have reached out privately through backstage staff, fan club managers, or even mutual acquaintances. Instead, he broadcast the question globally, knowing it would trigger a storm of theories, searches, and media attention. This calculated exposure invites interpretations ranging from playful engagement with fans to something far more personal. Could it have been an emotional exchange during the concert, a silent acknowledgement between them that Jin has not forgotten? Could the woman have held a sign, shed visible tears, or given him a look that lingered in his thoughts long after he left the stage? The Amsterdam concert itself was filled with moments that now take on new significance under this light. Fan videos from the front rows show Jin scanning the audience repeatedly, at times locking eyes with individuals for longer than a passing glance. In one clip widely shared hours after today's live stream, Jin appears to pause mid-sentence while addressing the crowd, glancing toward the left side of the stage with a faint expression of surprise. At the time, viewers interpreted it as a spontaneous interaction with a fan. Now, some are convinced that was the very moment he noticed the woman in question. Social media analysis has already begun in earnest. Fan accounts dedicated to documenting Jin's every public appearance are reviewing footage, high-resolution photos, and even security cam angles from the Ziggo Dome. Thread after thread compiles potential candidates, often accompanied by zoomed-in images and timestamps from the performance. The tone ranges from lighthearted detective work to near forensic analysis. But the deeper the search goes, the more the mystery seems to expand rather than narrow. Every lead raises more questions, and Jin himself has offered no additional clarity since the live ended. For seasoned BTS observers, this incident fits into a broader pattern of how Jin sometimes drops fragments of personal insight into public spaces, leaving them deliberately incomplete. These moments are rarely random. They tend to create extended engagement cycles, drawing fans into a sustained conversation that keeps the focus on a single event long after it has passed. The fact that today's revelation came with such precise timing, and without any direct connection to upcoming promotions or releases, makes it even more intriguing. Was this a tactical move to keep the momentum of his tour alive in the public's mind? Or is this one of those rare occasions where Jin allows genuine personal curiosity to breach the boundary between performer and audience? One cannot ignore the emotional undercurrents here. The way Jin posed the question was not with detached amusement, but with a certain gravity, as if the identity of this person truly mattered to him. It was not an offhand, by the way. It was deliberate, framed as a central focus of the live stream. This intensity is what transforms the incident from a quirky moment into a potential turning point in the public narrative surrounding Jin's Amsterdam performance. For fans who were in the building that night, the stakes are even higher. If you were in the front row, you are now part of a global guessing game where every photo, every movement, every shared smile could be the clue Jin was alluding to in the absence of further comment from Jin. The speculation will only deepen. And perhaps that is exactly how he wants it. By posing a single, tantalizing question, he has shifted the spotlight from a completed concert to an unresolved story, one that only he, and perhaps the woman herself, can fully answer. Until that answer arrives, the Amsterdam front row will remain one of the most analyzed and talked about spaces in recent BTS history, and Jin's seemingly simple inquiry will continue to echo across fan discussions, media headlines, and online debates worldwide. The question is no longer just who is she, but why does Jin want to know? And that, more than anything, is what keeps this mystery alive. However, as the initial shock began to settle, another wave of scrutiny swept through the online discourse, one that questioned the authenticity of the entire event. Within hours, conflicting accounts emerged from fans who claimed to have watched Jin's live stream in real time. According to these viewers, no such question about a beautiful woman in the front row was ever asked. Instead, they alleged, snippets of unrelated past lives had been clipped, edited, and reassembled to create the illusion of a direct statement from Jin about the Amsterdam concert. This revelation has shifted the narrative from an unsolved mystery to a cautionary tale about the speed at which misinformation can spread in the digital age. The so-called 15 minutes ago live stream, upon closer inspection, does not appear in any official archives, nor is it available through recognized BTS channels or Jin's verified profiles. The earliest circulation of the claim came not from a direct recording, but from third-party social media accounts that specialize in sensational headlines. These accounts often thrive on engagement spikes, regardless of the accuracy of the material they post. Several high-engagement posts use screenshots that, when traced back, were shown to be from completely different broadcasts, some predating the Amsterdam concert by months. The persistence of the rumor speaks to the high emotional investment of the BTS fandom, where even the suggestion of a personal comment from a member can ignite global conversation. In this case, the rumor's strength lay in its plausibility. Jin did perform at the Ziggo Dome. The concert was widely documented, and he is known for occasionally singling out specific audience interactions during lives. This combination made the fabricated story believable enough to bypass the skepticism of many fans, at least initially. Fact-checking efforts from well-organized ARMY communities have since provided a timeline that dismantles the claim. Side-by-side comparisons of the alleged live show inconsistencies in lighting, clothing, and even Jin's hairstyle. Audio analysis reveals abrupt changes in background noise between sentences, a telltale sign of splicing from multiple sources. Despite these red flags, the fabricated video had already racked up hundreds of thousands of views before the corrections began circulating, proving once again that false information tends to travel faster than verified truth. What makes this situation particularly notable is how quickly it moved from a niche rumor to an internationally trending topic. Within less than an hour of the first posts, hashtags and translated headlines had begun appearing in multiple languages, amplifying the reach beyond the immediate BTS community. For casual observers who rely on surface-level updates rather than direct sources, the false story became indistinguishable from fact. This is the danger zone where reputations, relationships, and public perception can be reshaped by nothing more than an edited clip and a compelling caption. There is also a deeper, more uncomfortable reality here. The architecture of fan culture itself can sometimes make the truth harder to locate. The intense desire for connection with idols, combined with the rapid circulation of unverified content, creates fertile ground for sensational claims to flourish. Once a narrative has taken hold, in this case, the image of Jin publicly searching for a mysterious woman, it resists correction because many fans are emotionally invested in the intrigue it provides. By the time the truth emerged, the emotional and speculative energy generated by the rumor had already done its work. Clips of fans debating possible identities for the beautiful woman remain online, divorced from the acknowledgement that the incident never happened. Memes, fan art, and even mock investigations have cemented the hoax into the digital record, ensuring it will resurface periodically, regardless of how often it is debunked. In the end, what began as a supposed intimate revelation from Jin was nothing more than a cleverly packaged fabrication. It underscores the urgent need for digital literacy in fandom spaces, where the boundary between genuine interaction and manufactured drama is increasingly porous. For ARMY and casual fans alike, the lesson is clear. No matter how enticing a headline may be, the only reliable source is the artist's verified channel, and until a statement comes directly from there, every breaking claim should be met with the same question Jin himself might ask. Is it really true?